said, let me introduce you to a story in which there is a Pharisee and a publican, and I want to concentrate for a moment on the Pharisee with a few shocking details. Number one, we universally approve of his morality. This Pharisee's a good guy. Now, I know we don't think of this because, like I said, we read the parables with the ending in mind. We pick out the villains and the heroes really quick in the parables. And we know the Pharisees are the bad guys. And so we automatically sort of look down on him. But I just want to describe to you what kind of man we're dealing with here. He shows up to church regularly. He fasts often. He pays his tithes to the penny. He doesn't commit adultery. He doesn't extort his neighbor. And he provides justice all around him. Not only is he highly moral, he's exactly the kind of guy we want in our church. I don't even think we can argue with that. I mean, if you were going to start a church, if you had one of these guys, pretty good start. What if you had 2 or 3 of them? What if you had 8 or 10 of them? It's like, I don't cheat, I don't steal, pay my tithes, show up to church, and I open my prayers with, I thank God. That's how he prays. I thank God. We go, this is my guy, man. I built a whole church out of this guy. I thank God that I don't do that and that and that. And I thank God that I do that and that. That all the glory goes to God for all of these things that I do. Not only would we approve of his morality, not only do we hope he signs up, please come to our church, not somebody else's church, but he's not a hypocrite. Jesus doesn't say he's lying. We expect that the story goes, yes, but behind the scenes, he was actually a mean dude who ripped people off and crushed them, and then he came into church and acted like he was moral. And we would read that story and go, that hypocrite. He needs it. I'm with Jesus. He don't deserve to be justified. But on the face, we can't really figure out why he's not justified, at least not in the code of morality. So here's the warning about the Pharisee before we compare him to the publican. The comparisons are pretty obvious, but I want to point out some things that sometimes are easy to miss. I know I already jolted you by telling you he's the guy out of the 2 you'd want in your church, but as you sat and thought about it, you agreed with me. I could see it. You thought, yeah, I mean, the church would be better off with him than those crazy tax collectors, because wait till I describe to you what their day-to-day life is like. And then you go, is that what we want our church to be full of? I mean, at least we could deal with the Pharisee, or at least he'd help pay for the building. You know, we pay some salaries. We could do some good with all the bad he drags in, but what are we going to do with the dregs of the tax collector? And the Pharisee has the most dangerous thing of all. At least I think in this day and age of ultra fast communication, the Pharisee has the lingo. He knows how to say it. Because he knows how to say, I thank God. Even though if you read his prayer, he's not thanking God. He's thanking himself. I thank God that I don't do this and this and this and this. I thank God that I do this and this. And the reality is I didn't need God to do all of that. I did all of that. That's why I'm bringing that to God. I'm actually reminding God of all of the good things that I do. Have you ever done that in prayer? Lord, I did this week and this week and this week. You know, I just know that you're going to move on my behalf. And that's us kind of stacking our goods up in front of the Lord going, hey, I know you know, but I just want to make ssure you know. Like I know you got it. I know you're God. You see everything. I just want to make sure that you know that I did this and that you get all the glory. But you get all the glory, and in reality, it's sort of I get the glory and I'm waiting on the paycheck. But the Pharisees got the lingo, man. Be careful of lingo-based Christianity, because we get fooled by good lingo. We get fooled by good lingo that quote the right verses, put up the right slogans on their campaign posters, say the right things in their rallies, and we walk away and go, how could you say that if you're not the real deal? And Jesus spends his entire ministry standing against people who know the lingo but don't know the heart of God. Now, maybe this is more important to me because I'm actually in pulpit ministry, but man, I take this lingo stuff pretty serious because I know people that know how to spew it out, and then I meet them outside of the pulpit and find that they don't really care about people and that people are a means to an end, but man, they got the goods. People go, gosh, that guy can preach. Man, did you hear that sermon? Did you read so-and-so's book? Man, they got that. And we got the lingo. So I don't get impressed with lingo anymore. I don't get impressed with principles and sayings and thoughts and sermon titles. Because if the story of the Pharisee and the publican teaches me anything, there's more than meets the eye. There's always something more going on in the heart, and that God doesn't judge the way that I judge.